Okay, this is Brindlewood Bay Tourist Season Part 11. Folks, we are in the home stretch of the campaign. We're starting the Void mystery today. So today you will begin your confrontation with the Midwives of the Fragrant Void. They have been in the background the entire time, sometimes not so much in the background, and they're going down. I think it's going to be 2 sessions, and so these 2 sessions will be the last part of our campaign. So feel free to go for it. There's no danger of not in going for it at this point. And yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we will, once we get started playing, I will introduce the Void mystery. We'll have a scene doing that, and then I'll give you all a chance to do cozy moves, like maybe the next day or something after the mystery's introduced, so that you all can finally have a chance to clear some of these conditions, and then we'll get going. So let's see. And I think I also owe Ruth a scarecrow clue as well. And I think, is there a dream that happens as well for Ida?
Yeah, I have Dale Cooper at this point.
Yeah, and that's oh, excuse me, I need to cough. Hold on. That would normally give you a void clue, but I'm going to just give you like a regular clue.
That seems reasonable.
Mystery. Yeah. So because they're all void clues now, basically, right? Yeah, and so between like the scarecrow clues, between that, you're gonna like start this mystery with like a lot of information already, right? And so it could be that like you even get the mystery solved today, but you actually have to like do the resolution next week. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But in any case, let's talk about the Void mystery. How many floating clues do you even have right now, Dan?
I think I have 3. Yes,
okay.
3.
Okay, so you'll have a 4th one here. So you guys are starting with 4 clues essentially, and then 5 with Dale Cooper. So like you're like more or less halfway like there. Good. I think we're going to start with cozy vignettes though, and then I might like interrupt your cozy vignette, Ruth, to give you your scarecrow clue. But just a reminder, this is the opening scene of our TV show, the credits, where we see your characters enjoying their lives in Brindlewood Bay. And I think everyone has Shadow in the Garden mark, so you have to add like a shadowy, dark element to it. And so think about it for a moment, and whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I got one for Ida. I think it's like, early in the day. The sun's only been up for a little while. It's just a little ball there on the horizon. And Ida is out front of her house. She has a couple of window boxes for plants and things. And she has a basket with her that has a series of smaller planter pots. And, the audience can tell by a little bit rougher make on these planter pots that these are all ones that she's made in one of her pottery courses. And so she's just going through, she's pulling out a plant and replacing that plant in one of her pots that she's made. And she takes that old pot and she puts it in her basket as she goes along. And she gets to the final one in this planter box and she pulls it out. And there's just like a tiny skeleton in the root system of this plant. And she just like looks at it and puts it slowly in the new pot and just puts it back on the planter and walks back inside.
Nice, I like it. Who would like to go next?
So I think that Esther's cozy activity for her cozy vignette thing is actually learning a new skill. I think that emboldened by her new romance and all of this crazy stuff that's been happening, she's decided that what she really wants to do is learn to ride a motorcycle. And so we like cut to Esther at her little like motorcycle riding course. And everyone there are like young, like strapping young men. And then there's like Esther, and her helmet has little flowers on it and things like that. And you can, she's going through, she's doing the thing. She's been there for a while. It's maybe like, the second half of the day. And everyone's being like so encouraging and applauding. And then she loses control a little bit and she starts to go fast and the engine revs on the bike. And it sounds a lot like the child is coming, repeating through the sound of the engine again. And she just kind of like comes to a stop and then it fades out.
Nice.
I think Laura has not been sleeping well over the last days, and she gets up at 4 a.m. or so, and she starts to actually go through these letters that she has from friends that she has from her travels all over the world, and she very methodically kind of takes off the stamps from these letters with steam in the kitchen, at the kitchen table, and she has a stack of letters and things that people have sent her, and she does that for a long time, for an hour, for two. The sun slowly comes up, and then she comes to this like larger envelope, and that a friend of hers, maybe from India, has sent her, or at least there's an Indian stamp on it. She doesn't really remember from who could it be that she's still in contact with there, and she takes it out, and it's some kind of very poorly printed yoga manual, and she opens it up, and there again is the symbol that we had from the very beginning, that was on the sweater that one of the children in the first mystery was wearing. She drops it, all of it, on the table, and just walks out of the front door.
Nice. Ruth?
So I think we see Ruth and Richard on a fishing boat, and they're out like having a fishing date, and they're, it's all happy times, and they're like playfully throwing bait at each other and stuff. And you see like Richard like pull up a giant fish, and then Ruth has something on her line, and she like yanks it up, and it's a comical old boot. And so then she takes it off the line and throws it back, and then you see the camera kind of linger on the boot, and like you can see the top of a foot sticking out of it.
Nice. I think as you and Richard are kind of pulling back into harbor and with your catch for the day, Richard says, Ruth, I almost forgot. I have something to give you, and I better give it to you now, because I fear we may not see each other again.
Well, I mean, it's a weird thing to say. I mean, you're not leaving, are you?
I probably shouldn't say anything else, but I want you to take this. And he pulls out what appears to be, looks like a tube that you would put like a poster in, right? But small though. And he kind of had it with his stuff, and he says, I can't say anything more than that. These last few weeks have been really wonderful, and I want to thank you.
Okay, I'll open the tube.
And he turns away and walks off before you can like realize what's in the tube and question him about it. But inside the tube, there it's like an old 19th century like navigational chart with like positions of stars and things like that, right? Ida, you're having a dream. It's nighttime in the dream. The moon is high in the sky. And in the dream, you and Hugh are walking out onto a cliff overlooking the ocean. You are both wearing long robes with hoods, but the hoods are down. And he says, here we are. And at this point, walking into the scene, sort of behind you in a semicircle, are the rest of the midwives of the Fragrant Void. We see Jane Leaf, we see Mrs. Carfax, we see Etienne Beauregard, we see Finks Cole. They're all wearing their robes and their hoods are down. We see another figure step in with them as well. This figure, based off their, as best you can tell in the dream, or maybe you just know in the dream, it's a woman, but they have their hood up and they're wearing, well, they just have their hood up. You can't quite see in the shadows like who it is. And all the rest of them take out these masks, these wooden masks, and they slip the masks over their faces, and then they raise their hoods. And Hugh does the same. He raises his hood. And the woman whose identity is occluded, she also puts on her mask. And Hugh reaches inside his cloak and he pulls out a mask, presumably for you. And he hands it to you. And he says, everything up to this point, everything in your life has led you to this exact moment, Ida. Will you put the mask on? And the dream ends there. Except when you wake up, you have the mask. That's not the clue, though. The clue is inside the mask, there are carved on the inside constellations. You recognize them. You're muted, David.
I thought I clicked it. Should I add the mask to my cozy place?
You can, yeah, that's fine. It's a clue as well. So.
Okay. I thought you said the constellations are the clue. And
oh, the constellations are the clue. Yeah, you're right. But you can put the mask in your cozy place. Let's put let's go ahead and make a column for our void mystery here. Complexity is 10 on the void mystery. And I think we should go ahead and just transfer all the floating clues, Dan. So we have the constellations from Wooden Mask, inside the Wooden Mask. We have navigational charts, the 19th century. And then what are the other clues, Dan?
We have a mysterious pager,
Oh, yeah.
a bronze pyramid, and a sailor's love letter.
Oh, yeah. And that's like a piece of art.
Right.
It's not like an actual letter. Like it's almost like a large medallion kind of thing. Fantastic. So it's Saturday night. You are all at the Candlelight Booksellers where we first met you. And you have you're all meeting at you all meet like kind of in the bookstore proper, and then you go up together to the loft area where you have your meetings to talk about murder mystery books. And it's been a few weeks since the events in Devilwood. You're going up, kind of ready to get back into the swing of things as far as the book club goes. And here I want to ask a variation on the paint the scene question I asked at the very beginning of the series, which is before I asked, like, how had you personalized the space, right? This loft area where you have your meetings. This time I want to ask, how have all the events that we've experienced so far in the campaign affected the space? How has the space changed? Think on it, and whoever wants to answer first, go for it.
I think that there are now just like several stacks willy-nilly around the room of books on like ghosts and the occult and paranormal events that we've been like collecting to reference.
And on the wall, there's like newspaper clippings of all of the mysteries we've solved.
I think next to the wall of clippings, there is a play poster for Exit Stage Death, for the play we saw there, that Ida collected from the theater afterwards.
Yeah. What was it called? Something with the King in Shadow. Yeah.
Yes, the King in Shadow. So yeah, there's a poster for the King in Shadow.
I think one corner of the space has been turned into a kind of impromptu yoga place. I think on the wall there's all these yoga moves, and I think for the last week or so, Laura has really gotten back into her yoga practice, and she's kind of taking this, what she has received in the mail and with this Indian book and everything together, and she has tried to convince all the others to also join her in this yoga practice. There's yoga mats kind of rolled up. And
I love it. When you all get upstairs, you are surprised to see that someone is up there already. They have their back turned to you, and they are sitting in a tall office chair that can rotate. And Laura, you will pick up really quickly that this is Otho Fane. The rest of you might pick up on that. But in any case, he spins around and he says, I hope I'm not interrupting something important tonight.
I think Laura looks back to the others as we're coming up, and kind of, with a questioning look. Mr. Fane, was bringt Sie nach Brindlewood Bay? Und zu uns?
Are you speaking German in character?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I think she is saying, like, Mr. Fane, what brings you here to Brindlewood Bay? We are with our can we help you with something?
He says, oh, I'm here to help you with something, as it turns out. As you all ably deduced when we last were in acquaintance with one another, I'm a member of a religious sect, the Court of the Occluded King, and we have a rival sect that I think you're becoming more and more familiar with. They're local. They call themselves the Midwives of the Fragrant Void. Now, the Midwives are up to some very, very big stuff. When I say big, I mean earth-shattering big. In fact, what they intend to do is call forth a being known as the Child of Persephone, and this being will destroy the world, plunging it back into the chaos of the void so that they can remake it the way they wish. What do you think of that?
I think you're sitting in my chair.
He says, "Oh, I won't be here long, dear, don't worry. I'm here because, well, under normal circumstances, my order would be prepared to stop the midwives because we do not wish to see their child brought forth. But owing to some complications in recent months and some meddling by certain elderly women from out of town, the court of the occluded king is not in any way or state to face the midwives. And in any case, I couldn't convince everyone to make the trip from Boston. So I think that means it falls squarely on the four of you to figure out the precise nature of the ritual that the midwives are going to perform and then stop them.
Well, I don't particularly fancy the end of the world. What do you think, ladies?
I'm all for stopping the end of the world.
How is it that you always know everything that's going on?
Well,
Do we have your eyes here in Brindlewood as well?
I have my fingers in lots of little pies, and I have my eyes in lots of places. But if you must know, I like to come to Brindlewood Bay from time to time. Enjoy the romantic, rural, rustic quality of this town. I pick up things. I hear things.
I figure they're probably also in the same Facebook groups.
Well, yes, I mean, you have to understand, in the 21st century, all of the mystery cults, well, we just operate differently now. I mean, we have, there are things you have to do. You got to have your Insta, your TikTok, all that business.
Otho, you strike me as someone whose Instagram game is really quite good.
Oh, I am, well, let's just say I am a bit of an influencer. I'm very fond of taking pictures of my vacations and making people salivate at the thought of having as much money as me.
Do you like true crime podcasts?
He says, well, it's a kind of a saturated market, wouldn't you say?
Oh, tell me about it. But if I had an influencer, like signal boost me a little bit. We'll talk later.
Fine. Just send me a link.
Okay.
Send me a link. I'll do a hashtag. It'll be great.
You're the best.
I, of course, hope that there won't be any talk of how I may or may not have organized the murder of dear Natasha.
I think we cut that part out. I don't know. That was several seasons ago. It's hard to keep up.
Indeed. So you have your mystery here, which is you're not solving a murder this time. You are trying to figure out the precise nature of the ritual, what they're going to do, where it's going to take place, when, and stopping it. So if you correctly theorize, you open up the opportunity to go stop it, basically. So that's the deal. It's a complexity 10. You've got a great head start as far as clues go, and that's kind of where things are at. He will get up and he'll say, well, I'm going to be here for the next 2 days getting spa treatments and possibly observing the end of the world, front row seats and all that. If you need me, don't look me up. And he leaves.
Was it I think it was Ruth who briefly had a fling with Etienne, or sorry, that was with the sheriff, wasn't it?
That was with the sheriff, and
Yeah.
Laura had kind of like Laura and Etienne were kind of doing a little thing. I do
Yeah.
have a list of like, I have a list of like possible places to get started. The fish market is a great one because that's where Etienne is. Snowdrop House in the Caves is another good avenue. Jane Leaf bought a house in Brindlewood Bay after the show. Mrs. Carfax is no longer in prison. And so maybe going to the state correctional facility to look at her cell. It's a little bit out there, but that might be an option. Wherever Hugh kept his personal effects might be another thing. There's lots of different ways you can approach it. However you approach it will be fine, but just to kind of like give you some sense of scope here and what you might go do.
I'm just gonna turn to Esther and say, I told you about that Vision, the movie with Hugh. We buried him. I remember that day so clearly. But now all of that has been called into question for me. Would you be interested in a little date night grave robbing?
I must admit, it's the first time that anyone has asked me to be a grave robber, or more specifically, to be a grave robber of their dead husband. I mean, I've done some questionable things, but
It
you know
is
what?
a weird
sounds
offer.
like fun. It sounds like fun.
We'll bring a bottle of wine, of course, a few shovels.
I
Everything
have
you
my
need for a
tactical
party.
shovel. Perfect.
Excellent.
I love the tactical shovel. I never got mine in the mail. I'm so angry. It was I got ripped off. Ruth, you get a phone call on your cell phone.
All right.
It's
Answer.
it's your nephew, Brett. Acting sheriff, Brett Anderson, by the way.
So proud of him.
Oh yeah, you should be. He says, Aunt Ruth, hey, this is Brett. I just wanted to let you know that Sheriff Dalrymple, I guess he's not sheriff anymore, but Dalrymple escaped from jail.
He escaped? How is that even possible?
Well, it's we're still kind of looking into it. We don't have all the facts. And in any case, I can't really talk about a case that's currently under investigation, except to tell you that Dalrymple escaped, and he's been very loudly declaring how he's going to get back at you all first chance he gets.
Okay, so, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, what's your recommendation here? I've never dealt with a situation like this before.
Well, he escaped, and he was seen at the sheriff's department. He stole a vehicle, which we're not proud of, and so if you see a sheriff's department Range Rover, you just be careful. I'm just letting you know, be careful.
Okay, but I mean, do you think he's gonna do something? Like,
I don't know. I'm just saying, we're all on it. We're doing our best to figure this out. But I just wanted to give you a heads up.
do you think he should like call in somebody, like the state or something? Like,
Oh, that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, we'll do that.
okay, yeah, that makes me feel better. Not that I doubt you, but just you got a lot of things going on. I know there's a street fair this weekend that I'm sure you're very busy with. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, just be safe out there.
okay, well, thanks for the heads up, Brad. Appreciate it.
All right. So
I think
Laura,
we are still at the. So Laura walks up to the bookshelf where all the Amanda Delacorte novels are, and she said, like, there has to be. Wasn't there recently another one on religious fanatics? I've never really liked this kind of motif in the. Don't you think it's a little bit boring? She goes through it and kind of looks, but we better read up on it again if we are dealing with this. What do you think? And she starts to kind of take one of them out, one of the recent ones, and sits down in the chair to read it.
Oh, Ida and Esther, are you doing your nighttime grave robbing? little exhuming of bodies, maybe. Yeah, why don't we cut to that? So I think you're all heading to the local cemetery. There were just the two of you heading to the local cemetery. And what vehicle are we taking, Esther?
Oh, we can take mine. We can take, what did I name her? It's been so long. It's finally time. Georgette. We can take Georgette.
Yes, your truck. And I assume that Bo is in the bed of the truck.
Yes.
Bo's going crazy. He's barking like crazy as you're like sort of rolling down the road. Something's got his attention, and you see headlights behind you.
So the first thing I would like to do is actually try to quiet Bo. So I'll just like toss him some, like I keep jerky or something, to keep him quiet and focused on that.
Yeah, and that's fine. And then you'll see it in the rearview mirror as the vehicle gets closer. It is indeed a big SUV from the sheriff's department, rolling up faster and faster behind you.
Okay. I want to turn the lights off. It's a really old truck, so I want to turn all the lights off so that like there's no more brake lights or anything like that, and like get ahead and go off the road in the hopes that he won't see where we went.
Very good. I like this. We'll do it as the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid he's going to catch us anyways, that we won't be able to sneak off.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. He'll run you off the road. So let's do it. I think this is going to be with composure. Yeah, composure. Let's take a look at if you have any relevant conditions here, Esther. I don't think so. I think you're good.
Also just checking. I guess I get to use Georgette because I'm in Georgette.
You are in Georgette, yeah.
To get advantage.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I don't have to mark it because of my Michael Knight. 10.
Nice, full success. Describe how you evade, presumably, Sheriff Dalrymple.
Right. So, he knows that it's us, clearly. Bo is quiet now, munching away in the back. So the first thing I do is I turn the lights all off so that it's like pitch black. I imagine like going to the cemetery, there aren't a lot of like, street lights or anything like that. And then I gun it. And at the last second, I turn the engine off and like swerve off the road into, I imagine, like a little wooded area just to sit there and wait for him to either go past or give up.
Nice. He just goes past. And I think he maybe like slows down a little bit. He's probably like looking to see like where you might have gone, but then he just like speeds up and keeps going down the road. We can have that scene with just the two of you having avoided this.
Well, this night is starting off exciting already.
Do you think that was the sheriff? That was the sheriff, right?
I hesitate to believe it was anyone else.
I'm like minorly concerned that he wants to murder me. And probably you.
You know, I think that concern is probably valid, if I'm being honest, given our understanding of the sheriff's track record and recent events. We did kind of pin a murder on him that we're pretty sure he didn't actually commit.
But we know that he did commit a murder.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. No, him going to jail, totally justified.
Yes. Look, I have boundaries. I have lines. But I'm just gonna maybe float this to you, maybe not so much to the others, but you'll know where I'm coming from. That like, were something accidentally to come upon the sheriff in the course of this world-ending thing we need to stop, I mean, that wouldn't be so bad, would it? Right?
I mean, at this point, it's sounding more and more like self-defense.
Right. Also, I mean, look at us. No one would ever believe that we could do that.
Do what?
Precisely.
For now, we need to do something else unbelievable. How do you feel about helping me grab one of those shovels there? We can just walk the rest of the way. I know the way.
I think that's a good plan.
Path.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
And we can check a coffin, I guess.
There we
Best
go.
date night ever.
So grabs the 2 shovels and a bottle of wine from the back.
So Laura is reading up on particular selections in the Amanda Delacorte series, the Gold Crown Mystery series. Esther and Ida are off robbing graves. What are you doing, Ruth?
So I feel like I could probably take Jane Leaf if it came down to it. So that's where I'm headed.
To her house?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I like that. You are, what kind of car do you drive?
Like an old Volvo hatchback.
Nice. You are on the road, kind of in the kind of like posh neighborhood that Jane Leaf lives in, same neighborhood that the Fidels lived in. And, you know, tree lined, very neatly kept. And you see, standing in the middle of the road, not moving, is the man in the Minotaur costume. Just standing there in the way. What do you do?
I'm gonna take out my phone and take a picture of him, first of all.
Okay, done.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna like slowly cruise around him if possible.
No, he if you try to like move, he will like kind of keep imposing himself in between you and the car, or between him and the car, or between him and imposing himself between you and the rest of the way.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send that picture to the rest of the group and ask for suggestions.
How do you all respond to the text message with the Minotaur and the picture?
I just ask, is there a labyrinth nearby?
Haha, not funny, Esther. Or not helpful, Esther.
Ask him what his workout regiment is.
Okay, you know what? I'll just solve it on my own. So
Follow-up text, I'll just write pocket birdseed ?
He's a real beefcake.
Oh no. It's one of those situations where, because I think it's like a nice neighborhood, they had to get special permission to make the roads narrower. So that's something that rich people do. And so you actually can't navigate around him that easily, even if you wanted to. So
You know what? I've got a bullhorn that I've never used before. So I'm just gonna take that bad boy out of my trunk and just start yelling at him to get out of the road.
I like this as a plan. You are shaken and frightened, and I don't think this is going to be exacerbated right now, but it's going to be the night move. What are you scared is going to happen if you fail?
I'm scared I'm just gonna attract his attention and he's gonna come after me.
Yeah, it's worse than that. He's going to pull you out of the car and gore you to death with his horns. So let's go ahead and get this going, unless you want to turn back around. You'll roll with, I think the bullhorn will cancel out the disadvantage. So you'll roll straight with sensitivity.
Okay.
Because of the supernatural nature of the threat.
That is a 7. No, a 9. Well, yeah.
A 9, good. It's going to work. It's going to work, but you're going to lose the bullhorn. I think so describe like just what you're doing up until like basically you get his attention.
So I think I'm just like, hey, you in the road, get out of the road. I called the cops. They're on their way. Get out of this neighborhood. You don't even live here.
The Minotaur approaches the car. He is on the side of the car now, on the driver's side. So you could just book it and go. Maybe that's what you end up doing. But he approaches, his footfalls are very heavy, and he smells a barnyard animal. Like there's a really intense animal smell coming off of him. And he's snorting. And if this is a disguise, it's a good one, because you can see the nostrils moving and everything as he snorts. And he takes the bullhorn in his big hand, which you notice now only has 3 fingers, and he just crushes it and twists the metal and tosses it down and is about to reach for the door. What do you do? You just book it?
Yeah, just floor it.
Nice. Just strike that from your personal or your cozy little place, but otherwise you're good to go. Laura, what are you doing right now?
I think I used my advancement to unmark all my items in a cozy little place, and I think we see Laura sitting on the still in the space, reading through this novel, and then she closes it. It's probably gotten quite late, I guess. She takes out her phone and goes to her Twitter app, and because she has this Twitter account, remember from the first time, and I think she writes a tweet saying like, "Has anyone ever heard of the children of Persephone? Let me know," and then sends it.
Nice, good. What move is being invoked here?
I guess that's a meddling move, like trying to find clues.
Oh, sure.
Maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, meddling move for sure. I was just curious if you were doing like Cozy Little Place or something like that as well.
I think I'm using the Twitter account, like from my, because that's one of my
Twitter
items,
account with large
right?
number of followers. That's right. Yeah. You can go ahead and mark that, and I think that will. You can just take it at regular advantage with. I think in this case it's going to be probably just reason.
Good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. That's a 10.
Nice. Let me grab you a clue. What was the specific question you asked again?
Has anyone ever heard of the children of Persephone? Let me know.
yes, you get some response. You get a response from a historian focusing on Hellenistic things, but also like mystery cults and the supernatural. And they explain to you that the child of Persephone can walk the earth in a limited way, in a way like an avatar almost, before they're in their fullness. And it can take several different forms, but the most common form is a large black dog with red eyes. And even though you got 10 plus, I think it's appropriate to give you a condition here for the large black dog, if you have space for it. If not, replace something and mark your Janus mask, or crown rather.
Yeah.
But that's your clue.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have I'll mark the palette mask and probably replace frightened. Wait, what is the condition again?
The black dog.
The black dog again. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Let's cut back over to Esther and Ida. So Ida, what's your plan here?
I mean, I think it's Ida's idea, but I think we're literally gonna like dig up the grave. I feel like you're angling for like, is Hugh actually still in there? Or what is in there?
Yeah, so she remembers burying Hugh, and it looked like Hugh. And you know, like that was a very expensive and personal process that she was involved with. And so the good news is like she's not trying to like pull up the whole coffin. It's one of those coffins that like the front top third was open, because it was an open casket funeral. He was in pretty good shape. And so she's just like wants to dig up that front section of the grave so they can open up that portion and just see what's inside.
I think just doing this, I'm gonna give you both the exhausted condition, because this is a lot of work, especially for two elderly women. And
that's my fourth condition.
Yeah, so you'll have to mark crown, queen or void, your choice. But otherwise, you're able to get at least to the coffin. That part is not too difficult. Then what? After some time anyway. Ida, then what?
She's gonna pull open that front third, sort of heft it up. Of course, she and Esther are both covered in dirt from exhuming this, and she's gonna see what's in there.
Do the meddling move with vitality, just because of this sort of exhausting and also kind of gross, revolting nature of this.
Yeah. And
take it at disadvantage as well.
Drop the dice. Let's roll that. You said take it with advantage?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Okay. I was gonna say probably. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a 2 and a 1. That's 3 plus my exceptional vitality of 0. So that's a 3 for me.
I love it. We cut away to show the midwives with their hoods and their robes and their masks in some unclear place. Wherever it is, it's dark and lit with candles. And they are muttering words, joining hands, performing ritual, calling out to the gods of old for their assistance. And when you open the coffin, you see that it's filled with snakes, vipers, snakes of all manner, a foot thick or more. And then you see a hand rising out from the snakes. A woman's hand by the size and shape of it. But in the moonlight, it appears to be very gray. And we'll take a 5-minute break and come back to that scene. Ruth, you are at Jane Leaf's house. There are a bunch of cars in the parking lot, or in the drive rather. What do you do?
I mean, I'm just gonna go up and ring the doorbell.
You hear
Or if the
someone-
doors, if I can just open the door and walk in, I'll do that. If there's a party going on.
Oh, you could just open the door and walk in.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that.
When you walk in, you see a group of people, including Jane Leaf, coming into the front room from the back room. And it's Jane Leaf, it's Etienne Beauregard, it's Phoenix Cole, it's Mrs. Carfax. She and Jane Leaf look really, really similar. It takes you a moment even to like figure out who's who. And Jane Leaf calls back to two people we can't see who are still in the back room. And she says, no, I think we're good for the evening. You two can go out the back if you wish. It's fine. I'm good. Oh, and she turns to see you, Ruth. Hello? Do you frequently just walk into people's homes?
I hold up the bottle of wine that I brought, and I was like, "Oh, hi! I was, I just wanted to touch base with you and have a chat. It's been a while."
And Etienne says, "Should we stay?" And Jane says, "No, you all can go back home. I'll handle this." And Mrs. Carfax goes upstairs. She must be staying there with her sister. Etienne and Phoenix leave. And there's two other people who went out the back and are leaving. So what is this all about?
Well, I just wanted to, I wanted to have a talk. Like, I understand, like, there's some things going on, and, I feel like I got to know you on the set of the Bake Off. I felt like we bonded a little bit in the tent, and, it just seems like you're a good person at heart. And like, I feel like you're getting wrapped up in things that are just, things that I don't think the real Jane Leaf would want to do.
She says, "Dear, don't take this the wrong way, but I almost never remember the contestants on the Jolly Good Baking Show. I have only the faintest memory of you."
Well, I mean, be that as it may, let's just say I'm a concerned citizen of the planet. And, I wanted to just kind of have a talk and see if I want to understand your side of why you're doing this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you have wine glasses?
Well, yes, of course I do, but it's rather late.
I'm going to pour wine.
I love it. We'll cut there. Laura, where did we leave you?
Reading this tweet about the black dog.
That's right.
And basically then I think turning off the phone and noticing that she is all alone, I think, in this in the bookstore up there. It's getting late, and I think she gets her things together and walks home. And I think she might call up her sister next.
You do. And she says, "Oh, Laura, dear, I'm just getting in the car. Can I call you back?"
Sure. I was just we had a visitor from Boston today, and so I was just wondering if you well, yeah, just call me back.
Oh, I've been from Boston too. What a coincidence. I was gonna pop by and say hi in the morning. I'll just come by in the morning.
Okay. I'll get some breakfast. See you.
Right. Very good. All right. See you. And then you kind of hear her before she hangs up. She says, "No, I don't know who that old woman is. Well, I do know who she is. She's a friend of my sister's, but don't worry about it." And she hangs up. Ida and Esther. There's a woman rising up out of your coffin filled with snakes. She has gray skin. She is beautiful, unclothed, and she's rising up. And as she rises up, she continues rising up, and you see that her lower half is a serpent. And she's now looming over the two of you. And she says, "We have been summoned. We have been summoned from the void. Why are we here?"
Well, I think you are here to find Hugh. My form. I thought he was deceased, but I'm looking for Hugh. You wouldn't happen to know him, would you?
We do not know the Hugh of which you speak. We pose the question again, why are we here?
And Ida will look up at Esther.
Well, we're not entirely sure why you're here. Yeah, or
I think I
talking.
want night moves from you both for maintaining your composure in the scene. I'd like for you each to say what you're afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve, in this case.
I think Ida was especially far down in this hole to open up the coffin. And so I think she's afraid of slipping in to end up with those snakes.
It's worse than that. You will slip into the snakes and you will be lost to the void.
I am afraid that this naked half lady, half snake is going to attack me.
It's worse than that. She will murder you if given the chance. So let's go ahead and roll with, it's actually sensitivity. I definitely want disadvantages on you both. Take it away.
Oh, thank goodness. That could have been worse. I rolled a 2 and a 3 on the lower end, so that's a 5, and I have a 3 to sensitivity right now, so that's an 8.
I also did not bad. 2 and a 4 plus 1, giving me a 7.
Very good. So you're both keeping it together, so that's good. I think what this looks like is she is sort of surrounding you with her long serpentine body, cordoning the two of you together, not squeezing you or anything, but just like a perimeter around you with her body. And yeah,
I want to offer her the wine.
I love it.
Yes, offer her libations, please.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's good. I think She says, you make an offering to me.
Yes, it's delicious. And like red like blood.
And if we, I think like Ida sort of like drops to her knees. Oh, great one. If we present this offering to you in the hopes that you might help us find the hue.
She says, we shall receive your offering. If it is pleasing to us, we shall let you live.
I'll settle for that.
Is this wine any good?
I feel like Ida and Esther have discerning taste in wine. I do not feel like we are women of the cheap bottle.
Except when Esther gets going, I don't think she cares too much about what she's drinking, but maybe the first drink is the important one.
To start.
Well,
Yeah.
also this was Ida's date idea. So I think
True.
Ida probably did the wine buying, and I think she buys the good stuff. She's got the budget for it.
Good. We'll come back to the scene. So Ruth, keeping the wine thing going, Jane Leaf says, this really is quite an imposition. You do know that, don't you?
Well, I mean, again, I'm concerned about what's going on. And I just thought if we could talk it out, maybe we could find a solution that's, beneficial to everyone. Because I don't think you want to destroy the world. I mean, look at what you've got going for you. Beautiful house, probably a Britty Award winner, I have to assume.
She says, so that's what this is about then. You are more clever than your appearance would indicate. All right then. All
Thanks.
right. She takes the wine and
To clarify, this is very cheap wine.
okay.
Ruth only didn't bring a box because Jane is British, and so she thought it would be offensive.
She takes a sip and she says, it's very sweet. Yes, it's very sweet. That's what we'll say. It's a fruit wine. How charming. And she sets it down.
It's made from local apples.
Yes. Well, to answer your question, dear, it's not so much a matter of destroying the world as it is remaking it.
But do you really think that they're going to let you have a hand in remaking the world? I mean, look at your own show. You played second fiddle to Paul, whatever his name
Riviera.
was. Paul Riviera, yeah. I mean, do you think that these guys aren't going to let you have a hand in remaking the world? They're going to use you to destroy it, and then they're going to make their weird white male fantasy world.
It's good, actually. It's good. Are you trying to do Frank Columbo also?
I am, yes.
Yeah, I like it. This is good. Do the meddling move with presents. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's boxcars.
All right. Well,
So yeah, 13.
yeah, very good. So you're going to get 2 clues. Void clues in this context don't really mean anything. So, but you get two clues that we're interested in here. And she says, "Huh. Well, you're certainly right. Paul did have a bit of a ego, and I do see a lot of him in Phoenix, who seems to have all the answers. Hugh as well. They can be quite insufferable. Oh,
Wait,
you didn't
Hugh,
know that.
isn't Hugh dead?
Oh, you didn't know that, did you? Yes, your friend's husband, quite alive.
Okay, we'll circle back around to that later.
She says, I did think it was perhaps too early to try to summon the child, but of course, no one wanted to listen to me. And you can tell you've gotten to her. she's definitely like susceptible to your playing with grievance with her here. So we'll come back to it and give you your clues later. Laura, anything else tonight? Are you, I mean,
Yes, I think
kind of an unusual thing with your sister. Why is she in
yes,
Brindlewood Bay?
after I think she heard this, and with the and now remembering this with the black dog, I think she goes in her house just to pick up this Indian yoga book that she used last time to try to banish the dog, and then she texts the others, where are you? Who of them do you think, who of the three others responds first, or is in a situation where they actually receive Laura's text and can respond?
I mean, I'll respond. I'm drinking wine with Jane Leaf.
Yeah. So I think when you respond, then Laura will say, I'll meet you there. I don't think I want to go to bed in my own house alone tonight. She writes that, and she moves over there.
Yeah, I'm good with the slumber party. I don't like the sheriff being around. So
Your sister's name is Mallory, correct, Laura?
Tracy.
Oh, Tracy, that's right. I know I had Mallory in my head. I think I'd like to just fast forward to that. When you come into Jane Leaf's house, Jane looks up and says, "Oh, Tracy, did you forget something, dear?"
I think Laura looks at her like with really like not understanding first, and then and I think then let's see, because we know, of course, that she is very good, very talented at passing yourself off as someone you are not. So let me just think for a second. She says, yes, yes, I did. And let's see, what could she have with her to kind of show? I think she says something like, I think some years ago, Laura bought like 2 matching wallets for Tracy and herself. And she says something, yeah, I think I left my wallet somewhere.
She says, "Oh, well, go ahead and just go get it as you need. I'm here dealing with Ms. Anderson, who has a lot of questions and concerns."
And I think so what is the situation here? Like, are they in like a living room?
Like a little front room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think maybe Laura will move to like the kitchen, and yeah, and have and see how quickly would she pick up this. Yeah, I think she will just, for now, I think she will kind of go looking around and look there for a bit, and then maybe kind of make a scene of looking and looking around and trying to find this wallet that she has kind of taken out of her pocket, and then she wants to see it. Does she notice anything out of the ordinary around the house here?
Take the meddling move with reason, and I
Let's
think
see.
I'm going to put you at disadvantage because you see a pair of glowing red eyes
Okay.
back of the house.
Can I, because this is the Remington Steel move, right? So can I use the wallet as
Oh, like a disguise.
kind of
yeah,
counter?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So then I will roll just with normal dice. Okay. Let's say 6.
Indeed. You are looking around, and the red glowing eyes step out of the shadows, and it's the black dog. Growling, teeth bared, tightly wound as if ready to spring. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna mark the Crown of the Void to bump this
Okay.
up, which is the pomegranate kernel. Gain the condition obsessed with the void.
Oh yeah, very good. We'll come back to the scene then. So, Ida and Esther, is it champagne that you gave to the to the snake woman?
No, I think it's good, classy wine. I mean, it's a weird date, but it's a date, and I know we definitely would have gotten.
We're not in champagne territory yet. Yeah. Very good. Ida, since you brought the wine, I'm going to have this as a night move again with the goal of what exactly?
I think so hear me out. Instead of a night move, would this be an occult move? Or we are trying to like curry favor with a dark being
Yeah,
summoned from the void.
What's the ultimate goal though?
So I think the goal, at least from Ida's perspective, is to get this this very lovely snake woman to like do something for us, to like basically cut a deal with them to do something in exchange.
Okay, interesting. I like it. And so you've made your offering, and so okay, I like this. Let's take a look at the occult move just to see how that's going to go. Roll sensitivity. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, this is just a flat roll.
Let me take a look at your conditions here. Yeah, flat roll's fine.
Okay. That is a 2 and a 5 is 7 plus 3 is 10.
Nice. It will work. The snake woman says, "Your offering is pleasing to us. The drink is satisfying to the tongue. And so we shall not kill you. In fact, we are so impressed, we will ask you what you would have of us in return."
Ida will glance over at Esther and then glance back at this intimidating snake woman and say, "Could you take us to the Hue? I think we have words and probably some amount of business with him."
She says, "Yes, I see him now in my vision. He is near, very near, and she turns, and you see off on the road in the distance some headlights approaching.
Well, that was easier than maybe we should have given her something harder.
She says, "We shall return to the void now." And she slides back into the dug hole.
Safe travels, dear. Here, have the rest of the bottle for the road.
She takes it and she says, "Even dread Charon could be persuaded by the quality of this wine." And she goes down into her sneaky pit. And you see headlights approaching. Not the cemetery, but just going by, right?
I think the bravado that Ida had for the moment sort of falls away. She looks at Esther. Okay, what do we actually do, though?
I think we have to follow that vehicle. We have to go right now.
Yeah,
and I like
let's get back to your truck.
her. Yeah. So that we can run back to the truck and follow the
Good.
vehicle.
So Laura, you got a 7-9. And let me give you your clue. Take a look at my list here. Oh, you'll notice that the clock in the kitchen is wrong. It says 12:06, but it's only like 9 p.m. And you happen to just glance down at your wristwatch, which also says 12:06. And if you look at the home screen of your phone, you'll see that it also says 12:06. This is your clue, 12:06. But there has to be a complication here. And quite simply, you get a phone call right as you're looking at your phone. It's Tracy. What do you do?
I answer it. Yes?
Oh, Laura, good. I caught you. Turns out the bed and breakfast I was going to stay at, they don't have room for me after all. Can you believe it? I was wondering if I could just come crash at your place instead.
Sure, I was maybe also inviting some of my friends, but yes, you still know where the key is, right? You can just let yourself in.
I will. Thanks.
And I think because I also had to mark, because to mark the obsessed with the void, I had to mark another crown because my conditions are full. So I marked flashback, a crown of the queen, a flashback showing how you were an imperfect sister or daughter. So I think we see like a couple or some time back, I think Tracy was visiting. It probably was somewhere else. Maybe I think it was back in LA when Laura was living there, and she had told Tracy that she, would that she can stay at her place and they would meet up, but Tracy would be a little bit earlier, and that there was a key in one of the in under some spot outside, and I think she had forgotten that she had taken that away a couple of days earlier, and so Tracy had to wait there for like 5 hours in front of the door, and She was super angry, and that's when on the next day, Laura bought these wallets as a kind of way to say sorry. But this is kind of, she has let down her friend, her sister often because she has too much things going on, too many things, and kind of doesn't remember everything.
Good. I love it. Ruth, Jane Leaf says, of course, I'm not going to tell you what our plan is. That wouldn't be fun. That would spoil things. But I am happy to give you some insight and see what you do with it. She takes your hand and she says, the thing you must remember, dear, is that this is but a chapter in a very long book. That's your clue, the quote. This is but a chapter in a very long book. And then she says, and I'll tell you something else. We are missing something at the moment. Something we need for the ritual. Do you want to know what it is?
Well, yeah.
A driftwood crown, soaked with blood. We have to have it, or we can't control the child. You wouldn't happen to know where such a crown would be, would you?
I mean, I would have no idea, I'm sure.
Here we cut to Tracy using the key to get into Laura's home. Well, I'll be curious to see what you and your little friends come up with. In truth, I don't think you're going to be able to stop the ritual. We'll get it sorted out by hook or by crook. But you're right, you know. It's time for me to start asserting myself. My sister always liked to take the lead on things, and lately Etienne and Hugh and Phoenix have, well, they walk about the world like they're always accustomed to being heard, and indeed they're entitled to be heard. That's rather annoying, isn't it?
Well, look, you know, I appreciate everything you've done, and you know, I hope that before the end of this, we'll be on the same side. And you know, if you change your mind, if it feels wrong, then I want you to know, you know, you can come to me and we'll fix it together. This wine's really good, isn't it?
Says, yes, who would have thought a wine made from apples and bananas would be so delicious?
You know, you can get some at the farmer's market this weekend if you want. Well, assuming the world hasn't been destroyed.
Very good. Okay, so you're getting in the car, Esther and Ida, to follow the car that's presumably Hugh. Is that the plan?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the snake lady seemed to imply that Hugh was in some way related to the car, so...
Yeah. So are you keeping a distance? Are you following pretty close behind? What does that look like?
I feel like I'm actually following fairly close behind. I think at this point in time we have abandoned all sense of like secrecy and sneakiness.
Run him off the road.
I
We
think
just dug a grave. There's no coming back from that.
once the driver realizes what you're doing, that you're following, they're going to try to like make a couple of like, you know, a couple of moves to lose you, like booking it through a red light, that kind of thing, right? They're definitely trying to lose you. What do you do?
I drive like the mad woman that I am and just keep on them.
Let's do the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid the emergency wine's gonna fly out the back of the truck.
The what is going to fly out?
The emergency wine that we keep in the back of the truck. We're gonna leave it. No, I'm obviously afraid that I won't be able to keep up with them.
Yeah, I think they'll. I think it's worse than that. They will. I think they'll manage to like do a maneuver that causes you to crash. So, take it away with composure again.
All right, and because I'm still with Georgette, I'm going to roll my advantage again.
Go for
Finally,
it.
Michael Knight is coming in.
It is indeed.
to play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not great. Wait, what did he say it was? Composure?
Composure. Yeah.
That is, where's my stats? That is 8.
8. It's I mean, it's going. You're managing to like keep up. That's okay, and you know they're trying to lose you, like making a couple of quick turns, running a red light or two. You have that moment where like they run a red light, and oncoming traffic from the other direction. You have to like kind of like turn kind of try to turn quickly to avoid it, that getting T-boned, that kind of thing, and. To your surprise, the car goes off road and is just driving like towards the ocean, towards the cliff that looks really, really familiar, Ida, from your dream. It's just like speeding toward that cliff, and it stops at the edge of the cliff. What do you do? Ida, especially, I'm curious, what do you do? You're muted.
Yeah. I think that Ida reaches into her bag and pulls out the mask of the midwives that she woke up with this morning. And I think as she does so, I don't know if she's mentioned it to Esther yet. So she just like gestures to it. And I found this on my bedside table when I woke up. I had a strange dream. I recognize this place. And at this point, I'm not really questioning these things. And she puts the mask on and gets out of the truck. And I think before she like walks toward the other car or anything, she says to Esther, would you mind keeping the engine running? If things seem to be going south, he died once. Just run him off.
Okay.
I think that Ida walks ahead a little bit, kind of leaving you behind just a bit, Esther, if that's okay. And as you're about to get out of the truck, Esther, 2 hands, like, first you hear Bo kind of like getting a little anxious, and then you see 2 hands grabbing the windows rolled down, kind of putting their hands where the window would be. It's Sheriff Dalrymple. And he says, ma'am, you were doing some pretty dangerous maneuvers back there. He's not in uniform except for the hat. He does have his sheriff's hat on. He's otherwise in what appears to be a prison jumper. What do you do?
So he's kind of like, is he like leaning a little bit into the window, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna like lean up also real close, and I'm gonna say, I don't think you have the authority to make those kinds of decisions anymore. And then I want to open the door and slam it into him.
Nice, good, I like that. Night moves with vitality. I'm going to put you at disadvantage, but I do want to know what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Honestly, I'm afraid he's gonna like drag me off.
Yeah, I think he'll throw you over the cliff as revenge. Go ahead and roll it.
Oh, I'm rolling so good. 8.
Nice. We'll come back to that. I think I'd like to just have a scene with Laura and Ruth as you're kind of wrapping up with Jane Leaf. Maybe you meet out in the front of the house or something. Let's just have that scene.
I was wondering, because I think Jane still thinks that that I am Tracy, right? So before I go back in there, I think I'm about to, like, I'm texting Ruth something like, it seems Jane thinks that I'm my sister. Maybe if you leave, she might tell me something.
Yeah, like thumbs up emoji comes back, and you hear like she's like, "Oh yeah, well, Jane, it's been great talking to you, and I'm sure this isn't the last time, and I'll see you later, and bye, Tracy."
Okay, so Laura, do you come back to the front where Jane is?
Yeah, and I think then she comes back and she has the wallet. Found it.
And Jane begins speaking to you in a language you don't recognize. What do you do?
I think Laura will say something like, "Dear, I'm so tired. This has been a really taxing day. I think I might just I have this headache. Do you have anything?" She just tries to
play it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's going to be composure. It's going to be at disadvantage. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
That she figures out that I'm not Tracy.
Yeah, and she casts a pretty dark hex on you. Consequently, go ahead and roll it.
That's a 4, I guess.
A 4. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and resolve
All right.
that scene. Ida, you're not aware of Dalrymple and Esther back at the truck. You're walking towards the car that's at the cliff. What do you do?
I think she heads towards it and tries to get a good look inside, or just, if no one comes out, she'll just go up to the door and knock on it.
The window, the tinted window rolls down. And sitting in the driver's seat is Percy Underwood, the dog's body from Snowdrop House. What do you do?
Hello, Percy. It's great to see you. I wasn't really expecting you here. this is gonna sound a bit strange, but is Hugh there with you?
And Percy takes your hand, holds it, and he says, Ida, you don't have anything to worry about. This is all going to be over very, very soon.
She's gonna pull her hand away and say, Percy, we don't have that sort of a relationship. What's going on here?
He smiles and says, I think if you go to a registry office or records department and try to find my birth certificate, Ida, you're going to discover that there isn't one for me.
I mean, records are off all the time. What do you mean, Percy?
He says, you have your mask.
I was given it in a dream. How do you recognize this?
What are you going to do with it?
I think that depends on what's going on here.
He gets out and closes the door. And he says, I died, but I was brought back. My remains were buried under a tree in the woods just outside of town, near the cave by Stockton Farm. And from underneath that tree, from under that wood, if you will, I was reborn.
You're not making any sense. You're a tree baby?
He leans in and he whispers in your ear something only Hugh would know. What is it?
I think it's I think she's been embarrassed for years about like the way she likes her eggs cooked. She just likes them like over hard with a little bit of ketchup, but like everybody thinks that that's real basic. And so she always orders something. Yeah. So she always orders something a little bit like she'll get them, over easy with a little bit of hollandaise, or she'll get them, like poached. But she always does that to like try to fit in with other people. But really she just likes them over hard with a little bit of ketchup.
So what do you do when he tells you that?
Yeah, she steps back aghast. And oh, so you did die.
Yes, but death is just a state of being. Like anything, it's a state that can change.
So you died, but you've been back for how long?
Oh, not long at all.
And you were involved in all this? She gestures to the mask. Before?
Yes, I have so many things to tell you, Ida, but it's very important that you put the mask on and that you join me.
Hugh, I'm I'm flattered. I honestly am. And she like takes off the mask that she'd wore over, and she takes it and she sort of like tosses it into the other seat there in the car, and she says, "But our agreement was till death do we part, and like you died already, and now there's all of this complication with you've been lying to me for years." And I'm also like, honestly, Hugh, I've sort of moved on with my life. Esther's waiting for me in the truck back there, and what I'm saying is this just isn't going to work out for us anymore. And if you're bent on destroying and remaking the world, death is a state of being, I think we've grown apart as people, and I don't think there's anything here for us anymore.
And here's where we'll hear Sheriff Dalrymple cry out as door crashes into him. And I think he's going for his gun, Esther. He's got a gun. He's got a piece. He's going for it. What do you do?
I'm gonna run him over.
Nice.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna like run over his foot. This is like
You're gonna back up and yeah, hit him. That's good. I love it. You'll get the advantage of Michael Knight again. Sing it all a lot today. And it's gonna be I think it's gonna be vitality this time. No, still composure. And yeah. I think I'm gonna make it a flat roll though because it's exhausted. So we didn't talk about stakes, but I think it's fairly obvious. So
That's a 9.
it's gonna work, but Georgette is gonna be out of commission because he's gonna fire the gun into the tires. But otherwise, you'll be able to hit him or do however you dispense with Sheriff Dalrymple, however you wish. Describe it.
I actually think I would like to mark a crown so that there are no complications.
Okay, sure. Go for it.
So I'll do that, and then I'll have 2 that I have to do. I'll take that in a minute, though. Yeah, so I want to bump it up so there's no complications. And so I feel like when I hit him with the truck, he kind of like stumbled a little bit and was like holding on to the door as it like swung out and swung back in. And now he's like half under the truck holding on to the door. And I just like slam it into reverse and like back up so that it's like crunching over his legs. And then I like steer and I just run over him and back up and run over him and back up. I'm in a little bit of like a murderous rage.
Hugh/Percy grabs your arm quickly, Ida, while this is going on, and he says, Ida, I know you've moved on, and I don't blame you for your attitude right now, even though if you would just hear me out, you might have a different perspective on things. But let me tell you this. I have been to the halls of the Queen. I have been to the depths. I know what's there. I know what Mother Persephone has in store for all of us. And I want you there by my side when the time is nigh.
Hugh, don't make me have to figure out the complications of filing divorce paperwork with a ghost. Just, we're over. And your fantasy that you're trying to live out with your dark queen or whatever this is, it's not going to happen. I think like you hear like the revving and the crunching in the background. It's not going to happen. And don't look, Esther and I are in a pretty dangerous mood tonight, if I'm being completely honest. It's been a spooky couple of weeks, and we made an offering to a weird snake lady. It's been a night. I dug up your grave. Well, what I thought was, apparently that's not even true. there's been so many lies from you, Hugh, that I have no reason to believe you now either. And even if I did, I think we just have different interests. And she's gonna wrench her arm away and say, like, cast a look over her shoulder as she walks back towards the truck. Good luck with your ritual. It's not gonna go off without a hitch.
Love it. Laura, Jane Leaf started speaking to you in a language you don't recognize. You've tried to play it off, and we're going to cut to commercial. Your prompt is estate planning lawyer. Give us your commercial and you'll take a 10 plus.
So I think we see like a shot of Brindlewood Bay, and then you hear this voice. So, have you ever thought about what will happen to all you have built during your life when you are gone? Can you imagine your spouse having to sort through all your papers, wondering what to keep and what to give up? And we see like a woman kind of sorting through papers, and we see again and again, some of them are quite weird. We see the symbol that we have seen in various times on some of the papers. And then we hear this voice, and they have to make sense of everything you've left. Can you imagine your children trying to sell the cozy little house in the woods at the lake that you've spent many summers at? And we see this kind of creepy house in the somewhere in the woods, very much like the one that we were at. I think weren't we at a house in the woods with the sheriff and so on? I think so. Your business being broken up and everything you built auctioned away for cheap. And we see like this kind of a breeding of dogs, all these like black, beautiful dogs, dog breeding business. And then it says like estate planning lawyers, Marty Person and Darren Child, Brindlewood Bay.
I love it. We come back from commercial and Jane says, yes, that's I understand, dear. We can discuss things tomorrow. You should go ahead and go now.
It has been a long day, right? I'm exhausted. All of this work. I wonder what tomorrow will hold in store. I feel I can't even think straight anymore. Will we meet up in the morning again?
She says, well, not in the morning, but certainly tomorrow at the appointed time. Now you better go.
Good. I'll go. I hope that my sister will take me in after all this things did not work out with the.
She says,
bed
are
and
you
breakfast.
going to go try to get the crown from her?
For sure. I think that is my role, right? That's the task that I've been given.
Yes, well,
I'll bring it tomorrow.
Yes, you had best. The child is, well, they say without the crown, it could be a bit of a complicated situation.
Yeah, I'll get it.
There, I think we'll just kind of roll into the next day. Brand new day in Brindlewood Bay after a very eventful night. I think I just want to see what everyone's interested in doing today.
Did Laura bring Ruth to stay over at her place to not be alone with Tracy? What do you think, Ruth?
Yeah, I mean, Ruth definitely was interested in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're up to 9 clues, which is quite a lot. And yeah, let's just what are we gonna do here in the day phase? Day phase, it's my other game, but here in the daytime. What do you think, Ida?
I know that I love the idea that there's like just a quick scene of Ida. She's staying over with Esther, and she's got the hose out, and she's like watering some of the plants. She's watering some grass. Then she turns around, and she's like washing blood off the tires, and first thing in the morning, the normal things you do.
Indeed. Esther, what are you up to?
Well, I was also gonna say removing the evidence of my murderous rage from the truck, but you know what? Ida's taking such good care of me. So I actually think that in return, I'm cooking a nice breakfast, and I like, if this is okay with David, that maybe Ida said like how you knew it was Hugh, what he said, and so I make Ida's preferred eggs for her in the morning, and I cook her breakfast while she washes my murder truck.
Nice. Laura and Ruth, and Tracy as well is there. What are you all doing?
I mean, I'm always up for a spot of like early morning bird watching on the front porch, drink some coffee, watch some birds.
Yeah, I think that so basically I think on the way back to Laura's place, I think Ruth and Laura talked about, of course, what happened, and that somehow that my sister is apparently there on some mission to find this crown, and how we might deal with that. And I think we decided that we would try to be up quite early and then sit out on the porch, and maybe me talking to Tracy while you would then have a chance to go back in the house and kind of see what is going on there.
Works for me.
Yeah, okay.
So I think,
yeah.
So I think we have been probably there for a bit, and then Tracy might show up and
We can have the scene before
Okay.
Tracy shows up if you all want to get
Okay.
cozy mood fired off.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. Things are really getting quite complicated. Ruth, what do you think? I almost feel like I can't even keep all these people straight in my head anymore that we met over the last months, and that somehow all connected with all of this. I wonder how you're doing it.
Well, I mean, it could be a lot worse. I mean, it could turn out that, my sister was involved or my not so dead husband was involved. I feel like, the rest of you guys are carrying this a lot more than I am.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I already feel exhausted, and I have the feeling I was so happy I didn't see you. You remember I told you about this black dog that I felt was following me around, and I was so happy that I had gotten rid of it, but I fear that it will just come back, and I'm not sure. I really I think I don't want to be, whenever we've been around all these people in the last couple of weeks, I've always somehow ended up on my own, and I think I'm gonna stick with you this time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we should definitely stick together. I'll like top off your coffee, and this will help with the exhaustion, I'm sure. I don't want to go out there on my own either. I mean, who knows what the sheriff is up to? I mean, we know he's a murderer and he's on drugs. Like, I mean, that's just terrifying. So yeah, I mean,
It is.
Yeah, like we'll stick together as far as I'm concerned to the end.
I mean, even if we are able to find out something about what is going on here, who can we trust? If the sheriff and all the authorities are in on it?
At this point, Tracy will come out into the porch, and she'll say, Laura, don't take this the wrong way, but your closets and cupboards are a complete mess. If you don't mind, I'm going to spend the rest of the morning straightening up because someone's got to do it. I was always the clean one, she says to Ruth. So why don't the two of you go and get brunch or something, and I'll stay here and make sure this house is not a complete nightmare.
I was just okay. I was just telling Ruth about how you really can't trust the authorities anymore. Have you read in the paper what the sheriff of Brindlewood Bay has been up to? And now I don't even know if any of these authorities, like, do we even have anyone that we can trust in here?
I don't keep up with local politics, so I don't really know what to tell you. I do know that your drawers are in a state of needing serious attention, and I think the two of you should go out and have breakfast at that little spot you always take me to. Go have brunch, and when you come back, I'm gonna have made this place more livable.
Wow, I feel like we're being treated like royalty. Like I should be wearing a crown or something.
I think we should go, Ruth. Tracy's right. I've never been able to keep these things. She's always been the more organized one, and we might we really deserve some time to breathe, don't you think?
Well, if you say so, let's go.
And you'll get to define a clue as well here, Dan, for free. You get to say what it is.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And you should both clear a condition too. It's appropriate.
So as long as I'm with Ruth, I think I'm not as scared of the black dog anymore. I think we don't really want to leave very far, but just like as far as she can see us anymore, I think.
And you do have the crown, right, Laura?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I guess so. Yeah, I think I took that when I found it in that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. I think we kind of, I don't know if we ever said it explicitly, but you did find it.
In that wardrobe or whatever it was.
Okay, so you're gonna like pretend to leave basically, but stay close.
Yes, I think Laura wants to climb back in through like a window or something.
Nice, I love it. Let's cut over to Esther and Ida. Let's just have that scene of what the two of you are doing, cleaning up the truck and stuff.
Would Esther be interested in doing a cozy move as well? Because your cozy activity is gardening, and we could do a little bit of that while we're sprucing up the place.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, let's do it.
So I think that after like the car's drying, that she's effectively washed the blood down the storm drains outside, and come back in for a moment, and you have the eggs, the ketchup bottle at the side, and the two of you sit down after have a quick breakfast. Well, it's been a busy evening, huh?
Yeah, that didn't really go how I expected it to go in any way. I know things have been weird, but I thought, all right, we'll dig up the grave and then there'll be Hugh there, or Hugh won't be there, maybe, empty coffin, but not a naked snake lady. That was disconcerting.
Yeah, I'll be honest, there was a handful of things that I was expecting we might find in Hugh's coffin, and naked snake lady was not on my short list, for sure. These eggs are delightful. Thank you so much for making breakfast.
Oh, you're welcome. And then as we are like chatting, I'll start just doing some like random like potting. I've got like my little workbench there, and I'm just like kind of.
Well, if you're looking for something to do with your hands, if you're feeling up to it after all the digging of last night, we do still have the body to bury.
That's true. That's okay. Well, I hear that No, I'm gonna phrase this differently. I think my azaleas could use some fertilizer.
A bit of gardening and first thing in the day is good for the body, good for the soul, good for the plants, I hope.
All right. Well,
He won't also turn into a bunch of snakes, will he?
I hope not. If not, Ruth, now well versed in snakes, she can just come and collect them from her jar.
I mean, if he does burst into snakes, no one will ever believe it was a body, at least. So there's that.
That's true. That's true. Well, and I just like grab my tactical shovel and I'm like, let's go feed the azaleas.
I love it. You can clear conditions if you wish, whichever you want, and then, or at least one each. And Alicia, you get to define a clue as well. Your choice.
Oh, I don't know. A clue. I guess something. Maybe we find something on the sheriff's body.
Oh yeah.
As we're burying him. I don't know what it would be though. If anyone has any ideas.
So for my clue, I was going to say like maybe on the way out we swipe Tracy's day planner, and it's probably coded to some extent. Right?
Okay, yeah, I like that. So Tracy's day planner.
I love that if it is coded, because Ida does have a code breaking book that she hasn't used yet in her cozy place.
Nice.
If I had a recommendation for what's on Dalrymple's person, like we've had a lot of nautical hints. I love the idea that maybe whatever's going to go down is going to happen out at sea, and so maybe like do we already have a nautical chart in the clues? But it's
Yes.
like a star map,
Like a
right?
navigational chart.
Yeah. They have like sort of like, and this is where I'm going to betray that I live in the middle of the United States and don't go to the ocean very often. But they have like topographical maps for the sea. I don't know there's a technical term for that, and I can't remember what it is. But maybe there's like a point or a few points that are marked on that map that he has. That's where something will happen. Maybe that's my suggestion anyway.
I think that's as good as any.
Yeah, go for it. We can define it that way. That puts you all at 11 clues, which is great. We may not do the theorize today. We might do it next time, but you're definitely in good shape as far as all that goes. I just want to kind of go straight to Janus Mask stuff here. Let's get the Janus Masks resolved, and then we'll just kind of end the session, I think, and we'll pick up next week. Who has Janus Mask to do?
I think you mean crowns.
I mean crowns, yes, not Janus Mask. Thank you.
I do. I have 2 to do.
Okay, thank you. I'm so like, can you tell me playing my other game so much? Yeah, it's the same mechanic, but yeah. Crowns. Whoever has a crown, please go for it.
All right. So I have 2. I have a flashback to the fondest memory of my late partner, which I marked while we were digging the grave. So we like scroll back to when I'm quite young, and like Miguel and I had maybe just bought our first house, like young, and obviously he was like well versed in like physical labor stuff, and I was still just like, no, I'm a journalist, and different worlds sort of thing. And so the memory is just of him like teaching me how to like dig the ditches for the vegetables, and I just complained the whole time about how hot it was and how sweaty I was, and like this was no fun, but obviously I grew to love the gardening thing, so that's like a nice moment. It feels like a big moment in life, and I need more time to think of my second one. If someone else has one they have to do, but I think it's
Yeah, who else has to go for their crown? Is it no one? Oh, okay. Well, in that case, we're just waiting on you, Alicia.
All right. So my second one is scene showing a private side of me that no one gets to see. So I think it's late at night. It's like 1 or 2 a.m. and I like come walking down the stairs and I get this big board out and I lay it on the ground and I like put my little computer on and what comes up is a teach yourself tap dance tutorial. And so, I got my little shoes and I put them on and just this like late night tap dancing. And I think that I'm terrible at it. I don't think that I'm very good, but that's my secret tap dance shame.
I love it. It's good. It's great. Well, if there are no more crowns to resolve, then let's just go to end of session questions. See how we all did on that. We'll go in reverse order. Start with Laura. Have not solved this mystery yet, but did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official, Laura?
Maybe when I was telling Tracy that there's no more authorities in Brindlewood Bay that can be trusted.
Oh yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm into it. And then, did you behave like a woman half your age?
I don't think so.
Let's go to.
I was about to.
Yeah, you were
climb
about
back
to.
in
Yeah,
the...
yeah, you were
exactly.
about to. Ida, did you dote on someone?
I did wash off Esther's car for her.
Oh, that's true. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
If you consider being complicit in the murder of a
former local official.
That's true.
I'll give it to you though. You can take it. Let's go to Ruth. Did you behave like a woman half your age, Ruth?
I don't think so.
Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
The only thing I did was I did convince acting Sheriff Brett to call the real cops.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think that's in the spirit of it. You can do that. You can mark that. And then same thing, Esther. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? We'll just say yes. Did you? You also doled out extrajudicial punishment, and you probably behaved like a woman half your age too. You had a good.
Yeah, we did dig a grave, and I did murder someone. Those
all your
like young people things.
Car shenanigans too. Yeah, I think between all those things, so you're looking good. All right, let's go ahead and do stars and wishes. Stars are things we enjoyed, of course. Wishes are things we hope to see in our finale session. Whoever wants to go, take it away.
Stars to the many uses of Michael Knight in this session. I was like fine with not. I was like, it's gonna come up when it comes up, and then it like really came up. So that was fun.
So I have a star for Ida's breakup speech with Hugh.
It was so good.
Amazing.
It was really good. Yeah, that was my number one star today too. The speech, like the whole scene with Ida and Hugh / Percy was great. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, I have a star for the Percy twist. I wasn't really expecting that. That surprised me. And also like sort of vaguely explains some of Percy's weird behavior, digging around the property and other stuff. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've been planning that one for ages. So it was fun to finally do it.
Star to our text message exchange, which was like a fun moment of levity in a fairly dark episode. Although not helpful to Ruth in any way, but fun.
Another star just for the continual bring back of the black dog. I love that through line that's been carried through and how that's affected Laura's character. If I want to sprinkle a quick wish in here, it's for Laura to get to face down her fear, her experience with the black dog in the finale would be really cool.
Yeah,
she has the book with her sorry, yeah, she has the book with her now to
Yeah.
to confront the dog, or even, I mean, the dog seems to be just an avatar of something bigger, right? So yeah.
I was going to say a star for I liked, so something that like I wasn't super explicit about in the rules, that I will be more explicit about whenever we do the kind of bigger final version of this, is when you're writing the void mystery, you should just repurpose the void clues from earlier sessions, because it kind of creates some connection between the earlier mysteries and the void mystery. And so, but I was kind of practicing that today, but like most of the clues that I gave you were all like variations on the void clues you had found earlier in the campaign. And I thought it worked really well. I was really happy with it. I was really happy with like kind of, it brought back like it created space for like so many references and callbacks, which I thought was really enjoyable. So.
Two quick stars. One to Dan for the bullhorn was inspired. I just loved yelling at this minotaur to get out of the road because he's not supposed to be there. That's just such a Ruth move, and I thought it was great. And then also to Jason for, I totally was not expecting like void portal with Snake Lady with opening the grave. So that was very surprising and very cool.
Yeah, I was definitely like embracing like a let's just go for it kind of thing here in the void mystery. Like, this is it, let's do it, let's go for it. And since it's all like kind of Greek myth inspired stuff, I thought that would be fun. Any other stars and wishes?
Well, I also like the whole gruesomeness of murdering the sheriff while kind of in this.
That was intense. Yeah. It was almost like black humor in a way. Like it was
exactly.
It was kind of funny in a way. Yeah.
Well, especially since it was happening in the background of Ida and Hughes singing.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that too. If I had to, my wish is, I just really want to see. I really want to see the theory you come up with for what the ritual is going to entail, and I'm just really excited to sort of see the final confrontation and kind of put our little capstone on what's been a really enjoyable campaign. I think it's like a wish. It's like a sad wish because I don't want to like it's sad to like be done with the characters, but it's I don't know, it's fun to say that it'll be. I think I'm really excited to be able to say we did a whole campaign. That's awesome, So.
Yeah, it's weird to get to this point, and like I would expect to have some big grand wish for Ida or a character or something for the finale, but like really I just want to see, like we've already laid so much stuff throughout the previous sessions leading up to this. So I do, okay, there's one thing, and that's that I want Ida and Esther to get like, we'll have our good scene in the sun after all this is over. But otherwise, like I'm just excited to see what happens next, what we decide, and where that conclusion goes.
Yeah, I'm very interested in like sort of the diverging paths that Esther and Ida went down, as opposed to Ruth and Laura, where like there's a lot of shit happening that Ruth has no idea about. Like there's a lot of murder and false witness statements that put wrong people in jail and all of that Ruth is completely unaware of. So like I'd like to see something with some kind of resolution with that.
Right.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see what does that mean? Like I in my mind, I want like the happy ending where we're all friends and we're all still like doing the Amanda Delacourt, but it honestly might not turn out that way. And I think that's really, I'm excited to see what happens when that information comes out about what's happened.
Yeah, I feel like there's like,
Yeah.
You guys are doing a Punisher thing, and Ruth is over here being Ted Lasso, like trying to win over these people with kindness, and y'all are running them over with trucks.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's this kind of retroactive building of a backstory, right? That this kind of game producers. And so in a sense, because I'm still at one point I had some idea, I think, about what happened, because I still have this condition, the clouded past, right? And at one point I had like an idea. Now at the moment I have really no idea anymore what happened. So, but I think it's interesting, like even from a player perspective, to find out what was it actually that kind of set Laura on this path. Yeah. And then this kind of yeah, I'm looking forward to do some kind of yoga anti-ritual or something. Maybe we'll see. So
I love it. Yeah, I'm super excited. I hope, I know we're gonna have a great finish, and I'm pretty, I'm just generally really happy with kind of how we're barreling toward that finish, and I think it's gonna be really, really enjoyable. Anything else before we go? Okie doke, I'm gonna stop the recording.